Hi everyone, thanks for being here with us today. My name is Shahzad and I have the pronouns she, her, hers. I'm wearing a white shirt and an orange pullover. I'm based in Brussels and I have been working with Expedia for over 5 years. I've had the pleasure to work in 3 different markets, starting in Dubai. Afterwards, I moved to Austria and now I'm based in Belgium, my base camp. I have Middle Eastern roots. Both my parents are Persian and I was born in Tehran, Iran. I'm very excited to open today's session around inclusion and diversity for this November's Health and Wellness Week. I've invited a couple of our IND ambassadors across Europe, Middle East, and India to share their personal stories around inclusion and diversity and to hear the positive impact that IND has in our daily lives, both in a personal and a professional context, both in our childhood and our adult lives. Without any further ado, I'm happy to pass the word to Blierta Kamberi to start. Over to you, Blierta.
Thank you for inviting us to share our story, Shar. I am very happy to kick off. My name is Blierta and I have the pronouns she, her, hers. I have dark brown curly hair and I am white. Today, I am wearing a pink jumper. For me, inclusion and diversity all comes down to the feeling of belonging and feeling accepted, feeling at home, no matter who you are, where you're from, what your journey has been, what you look like, or what our differences may be. As an Albanian woman living in the Flemish region of Belgium and working in the beautiful multilingual and multicultural city of Brussels, I have always felt passionate about inclusion and diversity. I've studied languages, which also strongly encouraged my cultural appreciation. When I was 3 years old, my parents fled for political reasons from Kosovo to Belgium in the early 90s. Just like every other immigrant parent, they left their home, belongings, and family behind to provide a better future for their children. And I'm so proud to say that they succeeded in doing so. Belgium was our safety net during a very difficult period, and I will be forever grateful for all the opportunities that we were given at that time. As a child of immigrant parents, I can honestly say that I have struggled finding my identity and a sense of belonging growing up. I felt tension between the culture that I was immersed in at school and the culture that my parents kept alive within our home. I remember being a child and hating my strange name being mispronounced and feeling embarrassed by my parents' strange accent in Dutch. But as I've matured, I've noticed distinct benefits of my upbringing. I've started to see that a lot of things that I found to be traumatic in my childhood were actually advantages, such as being bilingual and understanding the vastness of the world. Now my name can even be an icebreaker during partner conversations. And I love how telling your story and hearing other people's stories can be such an inspiring and eye-opening experience. When I started working for Expedia, I immediately could see all the cultural diversity with representatives from a range of various backgrounds that come together to work as a team. It makes me proud to work for a company that encourages and embraces different viewpoints, offers trainings, and boosts your cultural competency. Thank you so much for listening. Now over to you, Simpreet.
Hi everyone, my name is Sanpreet Kohli. I use the pronoun he, his, him. I have been working with Expedia since last 5 years, and I am wearing red shirt and I have black eyes. So I would like to explain what IND actually means to me. Actually, inclusion is the practice of providing everyone with equal access to opportunities and resources. Inclusion efforts in the workplace have to give traditionally marginalized groups like those based on gender, race, or even those with physical or mental disabilities a means for them to feel equal in the workplace. Inclusive actions like creating employee resource group or hosting information sessions make the workplace a safer, more respectful environment for all employees. And diversity, according to me, means being composed of different elements. Diversity means that the workforce is made up of employees with different race, genders, career background, skills, etc. Diversity is proven to make communities and workplaces more productive, tolerant, and welcoming. I'm passionate about IND because it brings people together across the globe and help us to understand about each other's culture and moral values. My favorite IND memory is when 2 years ago I went on a vacation to Thailand with my family. I was unable to understand Thai language, so it was difficult for me to communicate over there. Then one local Thai guy helped me with the direction to find my path to my hotel. Due to this experience, I was able to learn a lot about Thai culture and seafood. Thank you guys. Now I would like to hand over to Mary.
Thank you for sharing, Sanpreet. My name is Manchalot. My pronouns are she, her, hers. My mother is Italian. My father is Syrian. I was born in France and now I work in Spain. I am white, I have green eyes, big glasses, long light brown hair, and I'm wearing a pink shirt. IND to me means learning about the past, understanding realities and thoughts that may be vastly different from ours, and getting involved to create a safe space where we each feel we belong and where our differences are valued. I have always felt passionate about it and got involved in so many conversations from an early age with my family, my friends, and even with strangers sometimes. I found out I could participate in IND projects at EG at a time where I needed to boost my motivation, and I have been meeting many amazing people and discovering great organizations around the world. The way we perceive and communicate things is very much determined by our biases. The more we open our minds, the more we can have a positive impact on others and ourselves. My most memorable IND story may have been when I had just arrived in Milan for my Erasmus, and I was very tired from searching an apartment all day, and I was in a hotel lobby, and I overheard two people talking and having very racist statements. So I just joined the conversations, and we ended up talking for more than half an hour, exchanging our own perspectives. It was unexpected, but also nice to see we can have a discussion from different points of view. And I remember leaving and thinking, did I make a difference? Like, will this conversation change anything? And the thing is, I will never know, but it was worth having it. And I will continue to have those conversations regardless of the impact, because I learned something each time. So at least it will make a difference for me.
It's really interesting to hear all these stories. It's been really great. So, as briefly shared in my introduction, I'm Shahzad, also known as Shah within Expedia. I was born in Iran, raised in Belgium, and lived in 8 countries across Europe, Middle East, and Southeast Asia. I'm a polyglot in love with languages and cultures, and thanks to my childhood experience of having a Persian education at home and a Belgian education at school, I've always been attracted to different cultures, and so to travel. When I think about inclusion and diversity, I think about opening our eyes and learning from each other. I think about new experiences and new perspectives. I think about sharing stories. I think about sharing food. I think about sharing thoughts. And I think about education, because it's an ongoing, continuous learning. I think about being and feeling accepted for the person who you are and not needing to change for anything or anyone else, because only then you'll be able to live at your fullest and best potential. I'm passionate about IND as it's part of my story. It's part of my identity. When I was a child, I was often asked if I felt more Belgian or Persian. And believe me, this is not an easy question to answer when you're a kid and when you're still trying to figure out your identity. I only realized a few years ago that I can be perfectly both at the same time, and that I don't need to pick either one or. Having lived in very big cosmopolitan and diverse cities such as London, Cairo, Dubai, and Singapore, I've made a lot of friends coming from different backgrounds. It's been so enriching for me to get a glimpse of their lives, and this has given me the opportunity to learn about their culture and their traditions and so much more. It kind of feels like traveling through their eyes into their lives. I have numerous anecdotes around inclusion and diversity, so creating some background to my story here. People in Singapore love spicy food. However, I cannot take spicy food. So every time that I would go to a food court or a restaurant in Singapore, I would mention to please not make my food spicy. And numerous times I got the following response: "But you look Indian, how come you don't eat spicy food?" Every time I heard this made me laugh, because I've often heard that I look Indian, and I probably believe, and I do believe that I look Indian, but I'm quite sure that even if I was Indian, there are also a lot of Indian people around the world who don't eat spicy food. It's just really funny how these stereotypes are so fixed in our minds. And then, having worked in Dubai, I truly experienced all the numerous strengths that diversity offers when working on projects with people who have a completely different background from ours or from yours. Your team becomes really a melting pot of creativity, and you naturally come up with the best ideas as your visions are so different and your visions are so diverse, just purely because your experience and your life has been so different. You just come up with completely new thoughts and visions. So this is really something that I love a lot about diversity. Thank you for listening, and over to you, Anwar.
Thank you, Shahzad. It was great to hear about your background and experiences. I'm really impressed by the diversity even this panel has. I'm excited to see how Expedia is serving different communities. My name is Anwar Jamal Faiz, and I'm born and brought up in a remote town in Ghazipur, India. My preferred pronouns are he, him, and his. My current role is of a technical program manager for 2 teams of flight, crew, and transportation LOB. It is 7.5 years for me in Expedia Group. I'm loving its cultural diversity and IB initiative. I come from a software engineering background and bring in prior experiences from Adobe Systems, Symantec, and TCS. I've traveled to some different parts of the world like Nepal, Saudi Arabia, Jeddah, Makkah, Thailand, United States, and of course India. I'm a born Muslim, and our family practices a rich and composite culture, what we call as Ganga Jamuni Tahzeeb. It is a great opportunity and excitement, to speak on inclusion and diversity in this Health and Wellness Week 2021. So diversity means a different set of people, and thoughts. In the simplest of terms, when we respect and practice diversity and inclusion, we adhere to respect many different viewpoints and to not discriminate in employment on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, gender identity, region, religion, caste, sexual or political orientation, and things like that. There are multiple researches that have statistically shown that workplaces that prioritize diversity and inclusion efforts prove to be happier, safer, productive, and profitable businesses. So when I was very, very young, my parents had to keep shifting places. As my father was a serving cop, every year or so we had to leave some of our belongings, shift places, make new friends, adjust with new schools, sometimes even in a completely different set of cultural or political setup. I can honestly say that there was a struggle of identity, name callings. However, as mentioned by an earlier panelist also, that there was a distinct advantage as well that came out of it. I learned multiple languages, knew different cultures, the differences in them, and how actually to coexist with a diverse set of people around you. Talking about why I'm passionate about I&D is because I'm a strong advocate of being different and respecting diversity. I consider myself on a journey of exploring ways I can be a better ally for different underrepresented groups. I'm also a senior IEEE member, mentor, and paper reviewer. I'm a chapter leader of OAS. So I was fortunate to engage with and learn with diverse set of people. So now this fortune comes with a responsibility as well. I have to be advocate of few set of people. I have to become allies to a few. When I think about a favorite memory, in some I learned a new experience, and in few, I happen to touch or affect someone else's life. There are memories of my travels abroad where I struggled to communicate. This made me realize how different communication styles should be respected. As a software development engineer working daily on products with accessibility in mind is a part of I&D activity that I regularly do. Forming and being the chapter leader of Pride India has helped me in sharpening my leadership skills. I have been volunteering and mentoring, leading the Global Month of Caring, and also became an inclusion diversity champion. My efforts on Islamophobia resource guide have been recognized by the global EG-I&D team. So essentially, I'm really excited to be on my journey in this inclusion and diversity space. Let me now invite next to Sindan, and I'm sure she would add more perspectives in the panel. Thank you.
Thanks, Anwar. My name is Sindan, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm Australian, and I live in Scotland. I've been here in Scotland for around about 10 years, and have been with Expedia Group for around about 4. I am white. I have medium-length brown hair and a fringe. I have blue eyes, and today I'm wearing a black and white striped top. What is inclusion and diversity to me? Well, for me, inclusion and diversity is really about being part of a culture, both at work and in my personal life, that embraces and celebrates difference, enabling people to be themselves and to feel welcome as part of the broader community. I'm passionate about inclusion and diversity, as I truly believe that having an inclusive and diverse work and home life brings with it happiness, fulfillment, and a richness of life experience. At work, inclusive and diverse environments can promote creativity, innovation, and collaborative spaces that make work fun and enjoyable, as well as being really productive. I also have personally had exclusionary experiences in the past, and I've watched others battle with this as well. I know how awful you feel when that happens, and I really want a world where people are never made to feel that way. My favorite I&D memory? Now, this one's a hard one. I've got a lot that I could choose from, particularly in the last few years. But if I'm thinking about from a work perspective, it would have to be my team's discussions around I&D. Every 2 weeks, we have half an hour catch up where we discuss a different topic to do with I&D. We take turns in bringing a topic to the discussion, and we take turns in providing resources to learn from. What I've loved about these discussions is that our team have all learned together. We've shared different experiences, different areas of expertise. We've been vulnerable, we've been open and honest, and we've examined our own biases and explored challenging viewpoints. These discussions have helped us develop an inclusive environment at work and within our team. But they've also helped us bond as a team, to understand each other better, to feel like we have a safe environment where we can ask what may be viewed as silly questions. This openness and honesty is refreshing, and it's not something I have ever experienced in a workplace before. It makes me proud of our team, and I look forward to tackling future challenges with them at my side. Thank you.
This has been such a great experience to run this call with all of you. And now we will have to wrap up. Thank you all for sharing your personal stories, and thank you all for being here and listening to our experiences. I'd love to welcome you to join the following channels on Slack if you'd like to be more involved with inclusion and diversity. There is the hashtag EMEA-inclusion diversity channel, and there's also the hashtag EG-inclusion diversity channel. Don't hesitate to message me on Slack or to drop me a note via email or LinkedIn, whatever you prefer, in case you're interested to become more involved with inclusion and diversity or any of our inclusion business groups, or IBGs. Thank you again, and I really hope to see you in our upcoming I&D events.